Hey you guys, this is P, the Sagittarian goddess, and I hope you all are enjoying the new scenery today. I felt like being outside today. It is such a beautiful day where I am. It's about 79 to 80 degrees right now, and I got my notes right here, y'all, because y'all already know I'm about to dive deep into some of the Sagittarius energy, in particular the Sagittarius woman. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I talk about philosophy, astrology, spirituality on this channel, and self-growth. So if you enjoy any of those things, this is the channel for you. I'm your girl, okay? I'm your lady. Why do you get the best of both worlds with the Sagittarius woman? Because the Sagittarius woman is masculine, and if she's a woman, she naturally has feminine energy. But with her being so masculine, despite of her being a woman, she could have trouble balancing out her feminine and masculine energy. How can the Sagittarius woman reach her ultimate femininity? So how can the Sagittarius woman reach her ultimate femininity? The Sagittarius being a naturally masculine sign, the first thing you need to do is be able to recognize what feminine energy looks like as a Sagittarius woman. So from my experience, when a Sagittarius woman is in her feminine energy, it can be very tricky. But there is no denying that when the Sagittarius woman is tapped into her feminine energy, that it's a very beautiful thing. So whether or not a Sagittarius woman, or even a woman in general, is in her feminine versus her masculine energy, is very circumstantial. It really depends on what it is to the other person, because when it comes to being a Sagittarius woman, the Sagittarius woman doesn't really see gender roles. She doesn't really see limitations on what she can and cannot do. And this is why the Sagittarius woman can often be seen as masculine and independent. So the Sagittarius woman, when it comes to her independence, she feels like if she can do it, then she will do it. It's not always that she would want to do something, but if she feels like she can do it, that it's automatically a feminine thing, because the Sagittarius woman is a woman at the end of the day. And if she's a woman and she's doing it, that means it's possible for her to do it. So in that case, it makes whatever she does feminine to her. And energy can be quite tricky. It can be very tricky to her. She doesn't like to put limitations on herself, because she is a woman that seeks opportunity. She is a woman who believes in the impossible. So she doesn't like to put limitations on herself, because then what? Things become impossible. You know, her idea of life becomes pretty much non-existent, because in her world there is no world. It's bigger than that. Everything is so much bigger to her. And so to understand the Sagittarius woman's femininity, you must first understand that in the beginning, before she really gets to know who she is, you know, usually a little later on in life, she doesn't put limitations on herself. And so this brings me to answer this next question. Go ahead and thumbs up the video if you are enjoying this content. This lets YouTube know that you enjoy my content, you guys. What does feminine energy look like when it comes to the Sagittarius woman? It looks really messy. It doesn't look feminine at all. And if it does, it's like in and out, in and out. So when I say it looks messy, like Sagittarius woman just so happens to have her Mars and Mercury in Sagittarius, it can really seem just out there, and it can really seem like it's too much. Femininity when it comes to the Sagittarius woman is bashful. Yes, the flamboyant, the extroverted parts of the Sagittarius becomes very bashful when she is in her feminine energy. Suddenly she is shy, but she is not so protective of her personality because she lets it out bit by bit by bit. So the Sagittarius woman in general is very masculine, and masculine energy is kind of forceful. You know what I'm saying? Letting out loads and tons of information. But when the Sagittarius woman is tapped into her feminine energy and she is really balanced in it, she is soft and she doesn't let it out by the load. She doesn't tell her business by the load. When I say business, I mean things about her. Because when the Sagittarius woman shares anything, the Sagittarius in general, if they share any information with you about them, it means they are interested in you, whether it's friendship, platonic, or romantic, or business, whatever. If they're sharing information about them to them, the information about them is so sacred, because any information that the Sagittarius has is from their wisdom and personal experience. So everything that they express is from the heart. Sagittarius woman is tapped into her feminine energy. She is soft spoken and she lets it out little by little by little. The Sagittarius woman never runs out of things to talk about. So letting this energy out bit by bit, she's going to keep you around longer, because the Sagittarius woman will never be a boring person. She will never run out of things to talk about. She is constantly, every day, learning about herself through her experiences, and there's always something new. So when the Sagittarius woman is feminine, she doesn't rush it. She lets things out little by little, bit by bit. Everyone is different, but if you would have asked me when I was 21 if I was like super feminine, I would say, heck yeah, I am super feminine. But in all actuality, what is a super feminine about blurting out stuff? But where are these rules coming from? Like, the Sagittarius woman, as we are watching this video, the Sagittarius woman is probably thinking like, why does it even have to be a feminine and masculine? Like, who's making up all of these rules? Like, the Sagittarius doesn't like limitations, you guys. But when she's tapped into that feminine energy, she is soft. I do have a hard time differentiating between my feminine and masculine energy sometimes, and I'm glad I'm learning to recognize them now, though, because it's really helped me in certain situations, in certain interactions with other people. You know, being self-aware is very, very, very important. You're going to get her all one way or the other, but you may not get it as quickly when she's tapped into her feminine energy. Is the Sagittarius woman comfortable or uncomfortable in her feminine energy? She's very uncomfortable at first. She's very uncomfortable at first because the Sagittarius she feels like she needs a certain level of control. And so masculine energy is very controlling, it's very forceful, it's very competitive. Feminine energy is, it shares, it invites, you know, it comforts. So when you are vulnerable, naturally you are at risk for, you know, being hurt, being manipulated, and things of that nature. So the Sagittarius woman, at first, she is very uncomfortable being in this feminine energy because, for one, she doesn't even know why this energy exists. She wants to know why it exists, and at the same time she taps in and out of it. So she has mixed emotions at first about the feminine energy, but then when she matures and becomes more self-aware, she realizes the power that the feminine energy entails. And although the masculine energy has its own power, its own set of boundaries and limitations, the feminine energy also has a special set of its own. And when the Sagittarius realizes this, the Sagittarius becomes more comfortable in her feminine energy. The Sagittarius woman is very uncomfortable in her feminine energy because she doesn't like to be used. And when you're tapped into your feminine energy, you have to know that anytime you are being more vulnerable, even anytime you are being more soft, you are exposing yourself to possible letdowns and doubts, because the feminine energy is like, it's warm and it's comfortable. And the masculine energy, you know, it's a bit cold, and it's detached, and the feminine energy is very attached. So anytime you attach yourself to something and you let your guard down, this creates space for pain or disappointment. And the Sagittarius doesn't like disappointments, because anytime there's a disappointment, that means there's a limitation. You see, so when the Sagittarius woman is more in the feminine energy, she can be very uncomfortable in this at first. And it really takes someone who is patient and who recognizes her feminine energy and sees it as a place, you know, of warmth and, you know, respect. She will begin to be more comfortable in this feminine energy. You know, usually people are afraid of what they don't know, and the Sagittarius woman is naturally masculine, and she naturally doesn't know from the jump off top, you know, everything that comes along with being feminine. But she know one thing that does, and that's a chance for disappointment. I'm about to give you all 3 tips that you could try, and these tips, I say this with confidence because I've learned from my experience. These tips are pretty much guaranteed to get you started on balancing out your feminine energy. And if you haven't already discovered your beautiful feminine energy, Sagittarius woman, these tips will jumpstart that for you. Just give them a try, okay? Trust me. You ain't gonna like this one, but I gotta say it. I don't like it either, sis. But that is to hold your tongue. Yes, I know you're probably saying, I gotta speak my mind. I'm not finna let nobody know. I already know. I'm full of the Sagittarius energy. I already know. You really don't like to not speak your mind. You feel like speaking your mind is speaking your truth, and you feel like the truth is a part of your morals and values. You know, you feel like speaking up. You know, when you feel that urge and that fiery burst to speak up, you feel like if you don't speak up, you're not being yourself. And the Sagittarius loves to be authentic. But Sagittarius woman, let me tell you this, from fire sign to fire sign, just because you're not speaking at that moment doesn't mean that you're not being authentic. Just because you're not giving that person a piece of your mind at that moment, it does not mean that you can get walked all over. That is not what that means. It means that you are practicing self-control. Holding your tongue creates self-control. And self-control is a very feminine energy. Very feminine energy. And I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so let's say you got it's a group of guy friends, right? They in their 30s and 40s. And so whenever they're arguing about sports, you know how they get to jumping up and down? It's almost like that, but you're able to contain yourself. Because those men, that masculine energy comes out, and they get to, you know, competing with each other with the teams and stuff. But with the feminine energy, it's like, although that excitement, although that rush, anger, whatever type of passionate feeling that you're feeling at that moment, to say something, just to say something, to speak your truth, you're able to control yourself. And this leaves room for listening. Listening is a very feminine trait to have for a man and a woman. Beautiful listening. Holding your tongue gives you opportunity to listen. Tip I want to give you all is to be creative. This may seem obvious, so obvious to you, but being creative is a part of the Sagittarius thought process, mindset. The Sagittarius is naturally a philosopher. It's naturally a teacher, spiritual teacher. So you're constantly getting ideas all throughout the day as a Sagittarius. You're constantly getting these ideas. Remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. This is amazing creativity. This is out of this world creativity. You should never be bored. You should never have moments to where you're not doing anything unless that's what you decide. If you feel like you have so much energy to where you can hold your tongue, it's time to tap into your creativity. Creativity is a very feminine energy. This will help align your chakras, okay? This will help balance you out, like balance that masculine and feminine energy out, because now you got somewhere to put that fire. And the Sagittarius loves to create. The Sagittarius loves the impossible, loves to accomplish the impossible. So imagine when you're in those moments of sadness, of happiness, of anything that's like you can't help yourself, because I know you have those moments as a Sagittarius woman. So it's really important for you to use that to create something. It doesn't matter what it is. Just pick three things, like pick three things that you do, that you enjoy, that you're good at, and do one of those three things at that moment, and you will see that not only will you have somewhere safe to put that energy, you will also be creating something at the same time, and that will give you even more to share with the world, you know, to share with your friends and family, to be proud of yourself, you know, to give you that push, that encouragement when you look over and see something that you created. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's a very feminine trait to tap into your creativity. So go ahead and thumbs up this video if you're still hanging in there. I know this video is long, but I feel like it's so needed. These are some great tips, you guys. It's really going to help you balance out your masculine and feminine energy. So the third tip that I got for you, you have to slow down. Like, slow down. This is when you are able to really think and clear your mind and examine things and not be so quick to act. So the Sagittarius in general is a sign that can be very ungrateful. Not saying that I'm not saying that you as a Sagittarius woman, like you're not appreciative of anything. It's not like that. But sometimes the Sagittarius, because the Sagittarius is ruled by planet Jupiter, and Jupiter doesn't really have limitations. This is like the greatest knowledge that you can know, and it never ends type of energy, okay? So sometimes you can be so caught up in not knowing and trying to improve and trying to expand and trying to learn that you forget what you already know. You forget the wisdom that you have already gained that has got you this far where you are now. And if you think about it, this shows a bit of ungratefulness in some situations, because sometimes you can be so focused on the future, on what's not, that you forget what is. And what is what you manifest from, not what could be. So when you slow down, this gives you opportunity to be grateful and to manifest through your gratefulness. Just by being grateful, you manifest, Sagittarius, because you have gained so much as a Sagittarius. Knowledge, have gained so much wisdom, so much knowledge, just by being yourself, just through your own experiences, that you forget that you have that. You forget that that is a part of you. You forget that you already have so much. So slowing down is one of the quickest ways, one of the best ways that you can balance out that feminine and masculine energy. Masculine energy is very competitive. It's looking for the goal. It's, you know, focused on the goal. The feminine energy is in the now. It's gratefulness. It's warmth. It's comfort. So having a balance of chasing your goals, but also staying in the moment and not going so far out, because it's so easy for you to travel, you know, through the mind, through the heart. It's so easy for you to travel distances just by being in one place, that you forget to be in the place that you are. Sagittarius woman, you are divinely guided. Know that you are divinely guided. And not just a Sagittarius woman, every woman. You are divinely guided, Sagittarius. Doing things differently does not equate to you being and authentic. Knowing yourself is the best way for you to grow. Knowing yourself is the best way for you to achieve anything that you want to achieve. You can watch yourself. You can stand outside of yourself, observe yourself, and guide yourself when you are self-aware. Having this masculine and feminine energy is a blessing. It is such a blessing to have. It allows you as a Sagittarius to see the world from many different perspectives, from one body, from one soul. Remember, a little bit of silence, creativity, and slowing down goes a long way for you, Sagittarius. Doing these things comes back to you in the form of good fortune and opportunities. This is P, the Sagittarian goddess. Leave me a comment down below, you guys. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you enjoy about being a Sagittarius. What gets your creativity juices flowing? I want to know. Like, what is your thing? I will see you all in the next video.